Have you ever felt a pull inside you that refuses to let you settle? A silent knowing that your life was never meant to blend into the patterns of this world. That you walk differently, think differently, and carry a fire that cannot be explained. This is not an accident, and it is not your imagination. It is the echo of eternity calling your name. You are not lost. You are not overlooked. You are being summoned. The scriptures in Revelation chapter 7 and chapter 14 speak of a remnant, 144,000 souls, sealed, chosen, set apart by God Himself for a mission so sacred that the world cannot even comprehend it. And if these words stir something deep in you, if they ignite a flame you cannot deny, then understand this clearly. You are not here by chance. You are here because this message is your confirmation. Heaven is about to uncover the 7 crucial duties that define the journey of the chosen ones. Duties that are not suggestions, but divine mandates whispered from the throne into the hearts of those marked before the foundation of the world. Stay with me, because what you are about to hear will not only awaken your spirit, it will unlock pieces of yourself you didn't even know were waiting to rise. And before we begin, seal your agreement with heaven. Like this video, subscribe if you haven't yet, and comment 99 below. Why 99? Because it represents the shepherd who leaves the 99 to seek the one. And today, heaven has come seeking you. This is your sign. This is your moment. And it begins now. The very first duty of the 144,000 is not about standing on a stage or shouting from rooftops. It is something far more profound, far more invisible, yet infinitely more powerful. It is the call to anchor the light in the midst of overwhelming darkness. You see, when a chosen one enters a room, they don't need to announce themselves. They don't need to prove their worth. Their very presence speaks. The atmosphere bends. The energy shifts. People may not understand why they suddenly feel uneasy, exposed, or even comforted when you arrive. But the unseen realms know exactly why. Darkness recognizes your flame, and it trembles. And yet, this is why the chosen are often met with strange resistance, mockery, isolation, rejection without cause. You wonder why so many turned their backs on you, why doors slammed shut in your face, why even your own family couldn't fully accept you. It was never about you. It was about the light you carry, a light so ancient, so pure, that it threatens every shadow around it. The enemy cannot extinguish it, so he tries to surround you with pain, confusion, and loneliness, hoping you'll question your worth. But here is the truth. You were never abandoned. You were strategically placed. Some of you were born into broken families, not as punishment, but as positioning. Others were sent into environments so spiritually asleep that your very existence became a silent alarm clock, shaking atmospheres awake. You have been planted in hostile territory because you are not fragile. You are God's torch in the night. Your life itself is proof that no amount of darkness can overpower even the smallest spark of divine fire. Anchoring the light is not about perfection. It's about endurance. It's about choosing integrity when no one applauds, about showing compassion when it makes no logical sense, about remaining unshaken when the ground beneath everyone else is collapsing. This is why chosen ones often walk a road others cannot comprehend. You are not here to blend in. You are here to disrupt, to shift, to hold. And listen carefully. Your light is not just for you. Entire territories depend on your flame. Cities, families, and even generations are protected because your spirit holds the line. The enemy knows it. Heaven knows it. That is why, even when you feel invisible, you are a pillar in the spiritual realm. You may not see the impact with your eyes, but every prayer, every act of faith, every refusal to bow to darkness is shaking foundations that would have crumbled without you. So when you feel the weight pressing in, when you wonder if it's worth standing firm when no one seems to notice, remember this: the darkness already knows who you are, and it fears you, which means you must never let your flame go out. Because the moment you do, whole territories lose their anchor. But as long as you stand, light holds the ground. And now, let me tell you something even more unsettling. Anchoring the light is only the first step. What comes next will demand even greater courage, because the chosen are not just keepers of light, they are carriers of truth. And truth, once released, cannot be ignored. The second duty of the 144,000 is one that will cost you more than comfort, more than reputation, and sometimes more than relationships. It is the duty to speak and live the truth in a world that feeds on lies. This truth is not the shallow kind, not the polished half-truths that make people nod politely and move on with their day. No, the truth you carry is raw, sharp, and unshakable. It is the frequency of heaven itself, cutting through deception like a blade forged in fire. And once it is spoken, it cannot be unheard. This is why chosen ones are never fully welcomed by the system. Because systems thrive on illusions, false identities, false securities, false narratives designed to keep people asleep. But when you arrive, you disturb that sleep. Your presence exposes cracks others pretend not to see. Your words, even when few, carry the weight of eternity. And your silence, your silence screams louder than the loudest voice of the crowd, because it cannot be manipulated, it cannot be bought, it cannot be controlled. You are not called to entertain, you are not called to sugarcoat, you are not called to bend your message to gain applause. That is why applause often escapes you. That is why many have tried to twist your words, discredit your spirit, label you as extreme, divisive, or even dangerous. But let me tell you the secret. If the world feels threatened by your truth, it is because it carries heaven's frequency, and darkness cannot survive when it vibrates. To speak truth is to risk everything, but to withhold it is to betray your calling. This is why chosen ones feel restless when they try to play small, when they try to blend in, when they try to pretend they don't see what they see. You cannot unsee it. You cannot unknow it. The truth inside you will always burn holes in the fabric of falsehood until you let it out. And when you release it, some will awaken, others will rage, but none will remain the same. And remember this, truth is not just words, it is alignment. It is how you live when no one is watching. It is the decisions you make when compromise would be easier. It is your ability to remain unshaken when the world says, conform. Living truth means embodying it, breathing it, bleeding it if necessary. Because when the chosen live truth, it is not just a statement, it is a revolution. This is why your path feels lonely at times, because most would rather stay comfortable in lies than risk the pain of seeing reality. But you were not sent for comfort. You were sent to liberate. And liberation never comes cheap. But here's the mystery. You may think your words are falling on deaf ears, but even the deaf feel the vibration of truth. Even those who mock you cannot escape the imprint your spirit leaves on them. Your voice is not just sound, it is a key, unlocking what has been locked away in souls for too long. And if anchoring the light shakes atmospheres, then speaking truth tears down fortresses. It is here where many will begin to see who you truly are. But the journey does not stop with exposing lies, because the next duty goes even deeper. It reaches into the very bloodlines of families, digging into ancient roots that must be broken, or else they will continue to chain generations in silence. The third duty of the 144,000 is one of the heaviest to carry, yet one of the most glorious when fulfilled. It is the call to break bloodline curses and restore entire generations. Many of you wonder why you were born into families marked by pain, cycles of poverty, addictions, violence, betrayal, or even witchcraft. You thought you were a mistake, trapped in a legacy of dysfunction. But listen carefully. What looked like punishment was actually assignment. You were chosen to be the end of the curse and the beginning of restoration. From the moment you entered this world, you carried a power in your spirit that your ancestors never possessed. You inherited battles that weren't yours, weights that didn't belong to you, emotions that seemed older than your own lifetime. And that's because you were sent as the breaking point. the one with enough authority to cut what bound your bloodline for centuries. This is why the warfare against you has been relentless. This is why the resistance began before you could even speak. Because the enemy knew, if you ever awakened, chains would shatter not only for you, but for everyone connected to your name. This duty is not glamorous. It is messy, it is painful, and it demands courage that most would never dare to carry. Breaking bloodline curses means confronting patterns no one else was willing to face. It means choosing forgiveness where bitterness was passed down, like inheritance. It means healing wounds that were never even spoken about, the secrets, the shame, the unhealed traumas whispered through generations. And when you choose differently, when you stand in alignment with heaven instead of the cycles of your family, the curse ends with you. Do you realize what this means? Your yes to God is not just saving your soul, it is rewriting the history of your lineage. The moment you break a curse, doors open for children, grandchildren, nieces, nephews, and generations yet unborn. Where others were chained, you become the key. Where others were blind, you become the vision. Where others repeated the same mistakes, you become the turning point. Heaven trusted you to carry this because you were marked with a strength beyond human understanding. But let me be clear, this battle is not just against flesh and blood. These curses are spiritual contracts that have lingered for decades, some for centuries, and they only break when someone with divine authority confronts them head-on. That someone is you. This is why your spirit has always felt older than your years. This is why you've been drawn to prayers, to warfare, to mysteries others ignore. You were designed to step into the battlefield of your family tree and win. When you break a curse, you don't just end pain, you release blessings that were locked away. You activate dormant gifts in your lineage. You call forth the destiny of those who will walk after you. Generations will rise freer, clearer, and stronger because you chose to endure what others avoided. And though it feels lonely, you are never alone. Heaven is with you in every confrontation, every prayer, every tear. And here is the revelation. The enemy has tried to convince you that you are cursed. But the truth is, you were never cursed. You were chosen to confront the curse. That's why it couldn't destroy you. That's why, even when you thought it would kill you, something inside you refused to die, because destiny was burning too deeply within you. So the next time you feel the weight of battles you didn't start, remember, they are ending with you. You are the wall where darkness stops and light begins. You are the bloodline restorer, the chain breaker, the one who shifts the inheritance forever. And if this duty has been heavy, prepare yourself, because the next responsibility will demand that you step out of the shadows completely. It is about rising in spiritual authority, and no longer walking as a victim, but as a warrior armed with heaven's power. The fourth duty of the 144,000 strikes at the very core of who you are: to walk in spiritual authority, not in fear. And yet, too many chosen ones live as though they are powerless, trapped in the mindset of victims when in reality, they were anointed to be warriors. This is not about arrogance. It is not about pride. Authority is not an act you put on. It is an identity that was written into your spirit before the foundations of the world. Do you understand the magnitude of this? When you speak, heaven does not treat your words as casual noise. When you pray, angels move. When you decree, entire atmospheres shift. You may think your voice is small, but in the spirit realm it reverberates like thunder. The chosen ones were never meant to whisper in defeat. They were meant to roar with divine command. Yet fear has caged many of you. Doubt has whispered lies that you are unworthy, unequipped, or too broken. But hear this clearly. Authority was not given to you because you were perfect. It was given because you were chosen. And this is the season to stop hiding. No more shrinking back. No more apologizing for the gift of discernment that makes others uncomfortable. No more asking permission to shine. You are not here to seek validation from men. You were sent to carry the seal of heaven. You are an ambassador of the kingdom on earth, clothed in spiritual armor that darkness cannot penetrate. The enemy has worked tirelessly to convince you that you are fragile, when in truth, you were born unshakable. Walking in authority means drawing a line and refusing to let fear step across it. It means cutting ties with the voices that minimize your calling, even if those voices come from those closest to you. It means declaring over your home, your family, your territory, "This ground belongs to the Lord," and watching as the unseen bows to that decree. It means standing firm when the storm rages, knowing that storms were never designed to drown you, but to reveal the power of the one who walks with you. But understand this: authority will require decisions that terrify the flesh. It will require you to confront, to separate, to protect what has been entrusted to you. It is not passive. It is active, bold, and unapologetic. Walking in authority is to remember that you were not placed here to survive. You were sent here to govern atmospheres. And the moment you step fully into that posture, everything around you must align. The chosen cannot afford to live small any longer. Heaven is demanding that you rise, that you wear your authority like a crown, not tuck it away in shame. Because when you stand tall, others will remember how to stand. And when you declare, others will begin to believe. The time of silence is over. The time of fear is over. You are not here to bow. You are here to build. And yet, with great authority comes a sacred responsibility. Because authority without wisdom can be dangerous. That is why the next duty is critical. For the chosen are not just warriors. They are also guardians. And what they are called to guard is more ancient and more powerful than anything the world has ever known. The fifth duty of the 144,000 is perhaps one of the most delicate and yet one of the most dangerous to neglect. It is the duty to guard the sacred knowledge. You see, the chosen ones are not just warriors in the field or anchors in the dark. They are also carriers of mysteries. Ancient wisdom, divine codes, and hidden truths have been entrusted to you. Truths that have been buried, distorted, and twisted by the hands of men for centuries. And while others read scripture as if it were lifeless ink on a page, you discern revelation breathing between the lines. Words that others skim over strike you like lightning. Symbols that others overlook open doors in your spirit. Because what you carry is not learned, it is remembered. But make no mistake, this sacred knowledge is not for everyone. Not every ear is ready to hear it. Not every heart can handle it. And not every hand is worthy to hold it. That is why the Spirit whispers when to release it and when to remain silent. Some of you are called to teach, translating mysteries into language that others can digest. Some of you are called to write, leaving words that will outlive your own life. Others are called to embody it without explanation, to let the wisdom of heaven drip from your actions rather than your lips. But all of you are called to guard it, to keep it from the greedy, from the arrogant, from those who would weaponize the holy for their own gain. This is why discernment is critical. Not everyone who asks for your wisdom is truly hungry for it. Some come only to mock, others to misuse, others to dilute what is pure. Guarding the sacred knowledge means you must resist the urge to cast pearls before swine. It means you must protect what heaven has deposited in you, even when it makes you look mysterious, misunderstood, or even accused of being secretive. But understand, your silence at times is obedience, not fear. Because this knowledge is not a tool to be exploited, it is a fire to be stewarded. The chosen ones must also remember that knowledge alone is not the goal, wisdom is. Revelation that is not lived becomes corruption. That is why guarding it means more than hiding it. It means embodying it. It means living as proof of what you've been shown. Because when others look at you, they should see that truth is not theory, it is reality. And your life itself becomes the testimony that no one can erase. This is why the enemy fights so hard to distract your mind, to keep you entertained by trivialities, to drown you in noise. Because he fears what you know. He fears the codes locked inside your spirit. He fears that if you ever fully activate, you will release keys that will break chains across nations. And so he tries to distort, to confuse, to flood the world with counterfeits. But here is the victory. What is of God cannot be stolen, cannot be erased, and cannot be silenced when released at the appointed time. So guard it with reverence. Guard it with prayer. Guard it with humility. The chosen are keepers of the scrolls written in the unseen, and the day is coming when those scrolls will be opened, not to everyone, but to those appointed to receive them. And when that moment comes, the world will realize that the hidden ones were carrying the blueprint of heaven all along. But if you thought carrying wisdom was heavy, understand this. Your mission doesn't end with keeping knowledge safe. Because what good is light, truth, authority, and wisdom if it remains isolated? The next duty will reveal that you were never meant to walk alone. You were also chosen to awaken others who still sleep. And once they awaken, the fire will spread in ways the enemy cannot contain. The sixth duty of the 144,000 carries with it a sacred urgency, to awaken and activate other chosen ones. You were never meant to stand alone, because the chosen are not isolated individuals wandering through life. They are a living spiritual network, scattered like hidden stars across the earth, waiting to align. But here lies the mystery. Many of them are still asleep. Some are trapped in the illusions of the system. Some are weighed down by cycles of pain and hopelessness. Some sense they are different, but cannot yet name why. And this is where your presence becomes catalytic. Do not underestimate the power of your story. The battles you survived, the scars you carry, even the quiet resilience in your eyes. These things are signals to those who are still searching. Sometimes you won't need to speak a single word. Your presence alone will act as a trumpet in their spirit, awakening something ancient inside them, something they didn't even know was there. Because chosen ones do not convince. They ignite. They don't manipulate. They don't control. They guide. They plant seeds. They spark remembrance. When you awaken another chosen one, you are not simply helping a person. You are strengthening the entire global net of light. Imagine it. Each one who rises becomes another flame, and together, these flames weave an unbreakable web across nations, cities, and tribes. It is not about popularity. It is not about recognition. It is about activation. One word, one glance, one prayer can be the key that unlocks a sleeping giant in the spirit. But know this, the system will fight to keep them asleep. Distractions will multiply. False identities will be offered. Lies will whisper that they are unworthy, that they are ordinary, that they are forgotten. And that is why your role is vital. You are the reminder they cannot ignore. When you share your truth, when you carry your light unapologetically, when you dare to walk boldly in your authority, you become the mirror that forces them to see themselves. You are proof that they are not crazy, not broken, not alone. They are chosen too. Every activation strengthens the grid. Every soul awakened accelerates the approach of the great convergence, the moment when the chosen ones begin to move in undeniable unity, each carrying their portion of the divine mission. This is not a dream. It is already unfolding. The question is, will you step into your duty and call forth those who are still silent? Because here is the revelation. It only takes one awakened flame to set an entire forest ablaze. And once that fire spreads, there is no going back. But this fire is not destruction. It is purification. It is transformation. It is preparation for what comes next. And what comes next is not about individuals. It is not about isolated victories. The final duty calls for something even greater, something that will sustain the very frequency of heaven on earth. And once you hear it, you will understand why all the battles, all the awakenings, and all the duties have been leading to this final mandate. The seventh and final duty of the 144,000 is the very foundation upon which all the others stand, to sustain the frequency of the new earth. This is not about mere survival in a collapsing world. It is about becoming the living vibration of heaven on earth, to hold steady the currents of love, justice, purity, and truth, even when chaos screams, even when fear rises like a flood, even when the old systems collapse all around you. Because the new earth is not just a distant promise, not merely a physical place. It is a consciousness, a state of alignment that is already breaking through. And you, chosen one, are the bridge between what was and what is coming. Every thought you allow, every word you release, every prayer you whisper carries a frequency. And those frequencies are not small. They reverberate through atmospheres, dismantling strongholds and birthing realities. This is why the chosen are called to discipline not just their actions, but their very inner world. Because when you remain constant, when you refuse to lower your vibration to match the panic of the crowd, you become an anchor for entire regions. Where others collapse, you remain unshaken. Where others give in to despair, you emanate hope. Your constancy becomes the ground upon which heaven itself can manifest. Sustaining the frequency of the new earth requires courage. It requires consistency when the storm howls, and faith when logic tells you to run. It means embodying peace while the world wages war. It means radiating joy while the atmosphere is heavy with sorrow. It means carrying truth when deception has become the global language. And this is why the weight of this duty feels relentless, because it is not a momentary assignment, it is a lifelong call. You are not holding the frequency for a day, but for an age. But here is the beauty. When you do this, you are not only sustaining yourself, you are opening portals for others. Your vibration becomes a lighthouse, guiding those who are drowning in fear. Your steadiness becomes a shelter where weary souls can rest. Your alignment becomes a signal to the unseen realms, declaring, "The new earth is here, it has begun, and I am holding the line." This is why you cannot afford to give up, even when exhaustion whispers, even when loneliness bites, even when doubt tries to crush you. Because your presence is not small. Your presence is not optional. Your presence is the very frequency through which heaven kisses earth. And when enough chosen ones sustain that vibration together, the new earth will no longer be a prophecy. It will be a reality unfolding before the eyes of humanity. So take this to heart. Every decision you make matters. Every emotion you choose to dwell in matters. Every prayer you release into the unseen matters. You are not simply living. You are sustaining the vibration of a new creation. And if this feels heavy, it is because it is holy. You are literally carrying the sound of the future. And yet, as powerful as this is, it leads us to the greatest truth of all, that all of these duties, every sacrifice, every fire, every awakening, have been preparing you for one climactic revelation. Because sustaining the frequency is not the end of the story, it is the doorway. And through that doorway lies the conclusion you've been waiting for, the moment that ties everything together and reveals why you were chosen for such a time as this. These 7 duties are not casual instructions. They are not options to consider. They are heaven's decrees, sealed into the very fabric of your being, entrusted only to the 144,000. If your spirit is trembling, if fire is rising in your chest, it is because eternity is confirming what you already knew. You are chosen, not by chance, not by bloodline, not by the approval of men. You were chosen by the highest, marked before time itself, set apart for this exact hour in history. You are not an accident. You are not replaceable. There is no one else who can carry what you carry. Your obedience has the power to shift entire bloodlines, entire nations, entire timelines. And this moment right now is proof that you were never ordinary. You are heaven's strategy, walking the earth. Do not shrink. Do not wait for another sign. God does not call the prepared. He prepares the chosen. And everything you have endured, every battle, every scar, every silent night of questioning has been the refining fire making you unshakable. You are the warrior the generations before you prayed would rise. You are the voice creation has been waiting to hear. You are the light the darkness could not extinguish. So here is the final call. Stand, declare, step into the fullness of your identity. The heavens are watching, the earth is groaning, and your spirit already knows. Your time is not tomorrow. Your time is not someday. Your time is now. Comment below with boldness, "I am ready." Let those words be your seal of activation, your covenant with heaven, your decree into the atmosphere. Write it and feel the shift as your spirit aligns with your destiny. This is the hour. This is the call. And you, yes, you are the answer. Rise, shine, fulfill. The time is now. The time is now. The time is now.